Okay. How are you doing, everybody? So, question for today is a question that I asked myself over and over, and that was how I can find a process or steps in which I can implement and then move the needle in whatever personal development that I am working on. In my case, it was to understand some of the things that I wanted to understand and then start implementing whatever steps that I needed to change. So that's the question for you as well. And it turns out that after all of my research and studies and getting help from others, other resources, including counseling, and then getting really into the depth psychology, it turns out that most gurus and psychologists and philosophers agree that there are three fundamental bases for any improvement to take effect or to have a lasting transformation. First one is the concept of insight or education. What does that mean? It means you need to know what it is that you don't know. And that can be through counseling, that could be through self-inquiry, that could be when you are intrinsically, you know that you are aware that there is something is amiss. And then you reach out to people that they either are professionals or even, it doesn't really matter, it could be a wise person within the family or friends or a person who's got more insight that you can appreciate and give you an honest feedback. That's a very important piece, an honest feedback. Once you have that insight, that education, something now is amiss about you and you realized it, you are now acknowledging it. And then the next step is courage. You must have courage. And the courage is this, to face that part of you that you're not in love with. You realize that there is some stuff that you've done because of what you just found out about yourself. It wasn't your fault. It was part of your, how you were influenced by the external environment, including parents and friends and whoever at the early ages, especially in childhood. And then you develop those kind of adaptive behaviors at that time, but as you got older, those adaptive behaviors, they became maladaptive. And then now you know. So the courage is to accept that, to accept the fact that now you have these issues that you have to work through, because the concept of self-development is the idea that you be better tomorrow than today, and the next day will be better than tomorrow, and so forth and so on. And by knowing, so that's the insight that you just found, or education, learning, self-knowledge, or whatever you can call that, then you have the courage to say, yeah, I have issues and I have to deal with that. And this could be in a variety of ways. You can be neglecting, you can be abusive, you can be abusive to yourself and to others. You could be different types of behavior that you exhibit all the time. Possibly anger, emotionally withdrawn, not connecting, not social. You're very, very short and very always resentful. Certain things that, and on and on and on, and certain things that you know about yourself that it's part of, it has become part of your identity, and you need to shed that out completely. And shut it off and be completely free from that constraint. And so that's number 2, courage. Number 3 is the idea of discipline and perseverance and going through what it needs to happen so that you can do the work that it requires of you to get through the hard time. And that is day in, day out. The perseverance, the determination, the discipline, that on its own, it's really powerful. But without the courage to accept what it is that you have to work on, and without the knowledge and insight that what was the problem anyways in the first place, because most of us, we actually don't know, to be honest. And this is so true. And I didn't know that myself. So most of us don't know what the issues are until something happens in midlife. If you're lucky, earlier than that, but if you're not, maybe half lucky midlife. And if you're not lucky at all, maybe you will never be aware. And within that concept, we can move on and have the life that we choose. So here you have it. Based on my research, those were the 3, the insight, the courage, and perseverance. And those 3, they must work together. You can never develop and move the needle and get to that level that is beyond what you were before, for betterment, right? For betterment of yourself, without those 3 in tandem. It have to be like that. And at any given time, when you realize what is at stake, that is a life of meaning, a life that it is yours, where you define who you are without any of the past identity attached to yourself, without any of the past trauma or excuses or anything, because what happens to us doesn't define who we are. We choose to define our own way, our own being. So it is my hope that this was a helpful thing for you. It has been for me. Until next time, my friends, be well.